Dead Island 2 has been out for a few days now, and so far it has been pretty well received. There are some bad sides to the game and some good, but overall it is relatively good. And we're going to go over a little bit of a review today. I've sunk in a fair few hours now, finished my first playthrough, and I'm halfway through my second. Really enjoying the game and all it has to offer. So, if you are a fan of Dead Island, or you're on the fence, or you're just a fan of survival games, make sure you stick around because we have plenty more content here on the channel. Now, Dead Island is a good game overall. There are a few downsides to it, but we'll go over those a little bit later on. It's got some great things going for it. Obviously the way it looks absolutely stunning. The graphics are beautiful, the weapons are fun to use, combat is just all round enjoyable. The gameplay is good, the storyline is okay, it's a little bit cheesy along with some of the characters, but overall it is good and the game is not trying to deceive anyone in anything other than it is just a zombie slayer game. Obviously there was a little bit of controversy about the fact that it wasn't open world and the fact that it's not actually on an island. Now first off, the storyline and the characters themselves. The storyline is relatively good. It's nothing groundbreaking. The game is not really all about the story. And as I said in the intro, this game is about zombie destruction and just going all out, absolutely annihilating everything that you can find. Which I think that's what the game's got going for it, and it's not trying to be anything else, so that is good. But the storyline and the side quests are good. They're interesting, they don't feel overly repetitive, and there's loads of different things that you can do, especially when you factor in all the side quests and then the lost and found quests as well. So when it comes to the actual time scale of doing all these things, you've got a pretty beastly game. Some people said it would be around about 20 hours, but it's definitely going to be a bit longer than that. I've completed all the main storyline and a load of the side missions and I'm doing quite well. I'm at over 15 hours. And that's not even all of the side missions and all the lost and found quests. So there's a good chunk of story in there and a good chunk of actual gameplay time. So the maps themselves are all around about this size. But when it actually comes down to it, this may look very small. But it's not. It really is not. So I am in the middle right now. And as you can see, I can see all the way down to the other end there. By about that guard tower there where I'm aiming. And then as we look over to this side, you can see there is what looks to be a guard tower just past this, what I'm aiming at the post here, just through there. So it is big. It will take you a few minutes to get from one side to the other. And that's just because on this one I've got a nice open stretch. On other ones, they're dense, they're populated, and there is so much going on in each one. As you can see here, we've got a safe here, we've got fuses there. So these are all little side bits that I need to do. And some of them I've not actually discovered. There's 10 locations in total, so there's loads of places to actually go, and you can fast travel between them all. So yes, it doesn't have vehicles, and yes, it is an open world, but there is still a massive play area and loads to do in each area. So, combat. Overall, combat is really fun. It's a great experience, and to be honest, that is mainly what the game is about. The game is there for fun zombie slaying and slashing. It's not trying to be something that it's not, which is good. The combat overall just feels fun, it feels fluid, and when it comes down to the mods and the actual weapons, I didn't really seem to get bored with the combat, because you can mix it up and you can chain different things, you can try it, especially when you use it all with the different ability cards and the skill cards. You can really absolutely change a very small thing, and it has a massive difference on the way that you encounter different situations, which is great. And that just enhances the replayability when it comes to that combat side. And obviously using the environment as well, so car alarms, batteries, fire hydrants, almost everything that you can see, there is a way that you can use it, which is good. If you're up on a ledge, you can just boot the zombies off the ledge. If you've got a fire hydrant that's there, you give it a smash, water comes out, hit it with something electric, bang. If there's an oil can or there's a fuel leak, hit it with something that could ignite it. There's loads of different ways that you can approach situations, and that really makes the combat fun. Definitely the combat is one of, if not the best things about Dead Island so far. Now, weapon-wise, it is pretty much like the first game. There's a big variety of weapons, loads of different ones that you can play with, and then when you factor in mods as well, you can really get a hell of a lot more out of different weapons and play with loads of different styles. I prefer to use bladed, but you can mix and match and do whatever the hell you want with them. So there's loads of different ways that you can go about that, as well as using those environmental aspects too. So combat, weapons, brilliant so far. Now mods, let's have a little bit of a chat about the crafting bench and the mods in general. And they are great. There's loads there that you can mess around with, and you can create some really awesome combos with all the different weapons depending on what you want to play with. So you can have loads of different stuff in your loadout ready to tackle all different situations. And obviously when you get to those later game stages, which I'm not going to show any of that because I don't want to ruin it for people that aren't there yet, and you can start to implement zombie parts into some of these mods, you definitely make some absolutely insane weapons. But the mods that you start with, they're still really, really fun. And there's loads of different ways to get these mods as well, which makes the actual aspect of getting them not so much grindy, but just more fun. I really forgot that I was trying to find things, just playing through the game, hunting down areas and killing zombies, and things just appeared. And before I knew it, I had loads of different mods to play with, loads of different skill cards. Just playing through the game is enough to actually get loads of really good stuff. Another really cool thing to take note of when it comes to weapons is that it doesn't matter what weapon you get. There's not really a sort of OP loadout. You can have almost any weapon. As long as you've got the right upgrades on it and you've got it matched to your level, they will always be the same. So as you can see here, we've got this one here, the damaging cremator, which is at 349 because we've got the two mods and the actual cremator on it. And it is also level 16, which is the level cap because I am level 16. And then this one here is the same. Level 16, two mods, 349. So that does sort of dull the actual effects of getting certain weapons. There's no one weapon that is really, really good whilst others are not the greatest. It's more about your play style and the weapons that you want to play with, which is a good and a bad thing, I would say. And when it comes to characters, a lot of people were saying that the dialogue is going to be cheesy and annoying, but they've definitely toned it back to what it was before launch. So that is pretty good. So far, there are some characters that you just think, yeah, fuck off, you are a little bit irritating. But it's fine, it doesn't really matter too much because you just move away from that mission or from that side character or that area. But then you get a couple of side quests which have overbearing, completely weird people in there. But it's just a side quest. Once you've done it, it's done. The repetitive dialogue doesn't seem to be too much of a thing. I haven't really noticed too much of that, which is good. So as many people will know by now, the skill tree has effectively disappeared. We're now using a skill card system, and the skill card system is loads and loads of fun. I'm over halfway through the main story on my second playthrough, and we've already got a big chunk of cards. Now these cards massively affect the gameplay. Unlike a traditional skill tree, which you can just pop here and there and then you are pretty much set on most games, with the skill card system, you're free to change everything around as well as often as you want, which is brilliant, and it adds to the replayability, testing out different builds, testing out different skills. I do like myself a good skill tree because it helps with that feeling of progression, but the skill cards is a great addition, and they're relatively easy to get. Just playing the game, running through, you'll find so many cards absolutely everywhere, from zombie drops to quest missions all the way through to side missions. You'll get loads of these, and they're just fun to play around with and test different builds. So overall, absolutely love the game. I think it's brilliant. Is it worth $50-60? I'd say yes, because you're paying it. So far, personally, I haven't encountered any bugs, nothing game breaking, so it's good, and I've had loads of hours out of it. I've had over 20 hours so far. That's through 2 separate playthroughs, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just a fun game overall. There's loads to do. It's not felt too repetitive so far, and just the way it looks, the way it feels, it's a fun game. And I know I've said it several times in the video, it isn't trying to be anything that it's not. It is there just purely for fun, to blow up zombies and have some fun with it, which is good, That's what, it's not trying to be anything different, and That's what it's got going for it, I think. So it is worth the money. Hopefully we'll see some really good DLCs. Now the bad side is I would love to see some overall improvements to the mods and the weapon system. As I mentioned, the weapons are relatively... they're not the same, but once you've upgraded all your weapons, there's not really one or two weapons that stand out amongst the crowd. When you've got all those weapons fully upgraded, you're pretty much there, and you've just got fully upgraded weapons that all pretty much have the same amount of damage, just with different effects. So I think having some extra weapons that do a little bit better than the others, that do a little, and again, that do a little bit better than some of the other weapons and stand out amongst the crowd, I think that would be really cool. But other than that, so far, I'm really impressed. Absolutely loving the game. It is loads of fun. I would definitely recommend checking it out, even if it drops, which currently on PC it is on Epic Games, and it's not very often that games drop on there. So hopefully there is a sale on in the future. If there is, I would definitely recommend picking up Dead Island 2. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video, because we will be doing plenty more Dead Island content, especially when it comes to all the DLCs and that kind of stuff. I was going to do some sort of walkthroughs and guides, but you don't really need it in Dead Island. Everything is relatively easy to find, which is good. Very, very good. So, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. If you do want to support us a little bit further, consider becoming a member. For now, though, I've been Wired. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.